What's going on, YouTube? Back at it with another and daddy. Hey man, you already know the vibes. Like, share, and subscribe. If you ain't subscribed, man, hit that little subscription button down there in the corner. You feel me? Hit that little bell, man. It's free, and I'm blessed. So when you hit that notification bell, you gonna be blessed too. But hey, let's get into it, man. I feel like this video is very much overdue. It's very much in the now, if you could say. It's about Stephen A. Smith, if you will. It's a lot of controversy going on with him, and with Kwame Brown, and I've always wondered, what do other NBA players feel about him? So I just so happened to see a video. It says what NBA players really feel about Stephen A. Smith. So we're going to get into this and see, how other people feel about it. Let's get into it. All right. Hope y'all having a good day too, man. It's raining where I'm at, so it's a little nasty outside. But, we'll get there. Let's get into it, though. Sorry, guys. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Hoops Nation. That's where I got the video from. Y'all want to go check them out. It's Hoop Nation.
Stephen Marbury. Ex-NBA player and CBA legend Stephen Marbury didn't hide his not-so-favourable remarks against Stephen A. during an interview when the former Knicks point guard was asked about the sports journalist's demeanour as a well-known basketball analyst. I think Stephen A. Smith, he does what he's doing for TV, that's it. That's the best way to paraphrase what's actually happening, what's going on. Stephen A. Smith, he's never played any professional sport, and I think when you have these guys like him and Shannon Sharpe, he explained, when you have a football player talking about basketball, I think you're doing it an injustice towards people's ears and understanding about what's actually happening on the court. When you listen to guys like Chris Webber and Kenny Smith, even Charles Barkley, when you're listening to these guys and they're talking about basketball, it's okay to have an observation about what it is that you see.
And you heard what he said right there, right? Stephen A. hasn't played no professional basketball. We got Shannon Sharpe talking about basketball. Now, I'm not saying can't no football player talk about basketball, but it's like, as a basketball fan, I want to see somebody who played the game talking about the game. You got certain anchors who haven't played, but they can speak up the game real well, as of Ernie Johnson. He's a real good anchor, I feel like. And I don't think he's played any basketball. But I don't know what this is about having people who never played basketball and people who played a totally different sport talking about another sport.
John Wall. In 2018, Stephen A. got into a Twitter feud with the injury-riddled point guard John Wall, criticising his lackluster play and subpar performance despite being the highest-paid player on the Wizards' payroll. The tenured...
And that's another thing. Sorry, I ain't going to keep pausing it, but that's another thing. Like, why are you criticizing somebody's play because they're the highest paid player? It's like, just call it how you see it. If he didn't play good that game, say he didn't play good that game. But to get on... I just feel like Stephen A. goes way too hard. Don't get me wrong. I feel like he a good anchor, though. But it's just... I feel like some of the shit he say, it just ain't cool. I feel like Kwame had a lot of points about how they downplay, athletes. And it's hard to say downplay black athletes because damn near that's all there is. It seems like all the stars are pretty much black. I mean, it's getting a little different now, but, most of them was pretty much black. But yeah, let's get back into it, man.
Personality also took a swipe at Wall's off-court misbehaviours, such as the frequent partying and visiting nightclubs in DC.
Shouldn't be talking about him off court. Let's keep it on the court, Stephen.
Swinging against the first take anchor. It doesn't bother me. It's like this. If you have a personal problem with me, come talk to me like a man. If you want to talk about me as a basketball player, that's fine. I'm cool with that. I can take that criticism. That's what comes first when you're that guy. But when you want to take things to a personal level, you can have a conversation with me one-on-one like a man. If you don't like me, you just don't like me. I'm fine with that. I might not like you either. That's cool. Wall's provocative tweet led to a series of heated exchanges between the two, in which Stephen A retorted that he's not the type of dude who's going to back down from a fight. I don't want to hear a damn thing about Wall, about talking to him man to man. I showed up one game and waited for him in the locker room, and he wouldn't come out. So the next time Wall or any other player tells you that they're looking for a man-to-man conversation, Smith tweeted at Hughes, tell them to name the time and place and I'll show up.
So, Stephen A said, I don't want to hear a damn thing from Wall about talking to him man to man. I showed up at one game and waited for him in the locker room and he wouldn't come out. So the next time Wall or any other player tells you that they are looking for me for a man-to-man conversation, tell them the time and the place. That comes out of Stephen A. Smith's mouth. So, Kwame, maybe you just need to tell him a time and a place and y'all can have a man-to-man conversation. And if he doesn't agree, then you need to bring this quote up that he said. Let's get into it.
Even on my damn vacation. I'm not the one hiding. Never have, never will. John Wall just casually shrugged off Stephen A's seemingly empty threats, claiming that he's actually the one who avoids the supposed confrontation. LOL, bro, you walked past me with your head down after I got my x-ray from my foot after the Boston game. Stop capping, bro. You know me. I don't know who you know from my camp. Stop hiding. Seems like you got a personal problem.
Sorry, y'all, I keep having talk, but it sounded like John Wall saying he lying. He's saying he walked past him and Stephen A had his. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is where this ain't basketball. This is where it becomes a problem. Like, just stick to basketball, boy. Stephen A. Let's get into it.
Not about basketball. To be honest, I really have no idea who's telling the truth on this one. Who do you think is dodging cower between John Wall and Stephen A? Let me know your answers on this one by commenting.
I just don't see John Wall being scared of Stephen A. Smith. But I definitely see Stephen A. Smith being scared of John Wall.
That Kevin Durant might be joining the Wizards or Lakers after reports of his rocky relationship with Russell Westbrook started to surface. Regardless of how senseless it may sound, in one breath, I'm hearing that if Kevin Durant doesn't stay in Oklahoma City, LA is his primary objective and landing spot as opposed to South Beach or even his home with Washington, D.C. In response to Stephen A's unconfirmed conjecture, KD fired back claiming that the veteran sports journalist didn't even talk to him about the said matter, and even to the extent of calling him a liar. I don't talk to Stephen A. Smith at all. Nobody in my family, my friends, they don't talk to Stephen A. Smith, so he's lying. If you ask me a question, I'll talk about them. But like I said before, I have people who I talk to about everything, and I know for a fact that they didn't talk to him, so he's making up stories. LeBron James.
Making up shit.
After his beef with KD, Stephen A would incite another scoop in 2016 surrounding the building drama happening in Cleveland between LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. He claimed that an inevitable trade was about to happen due to Kyrie being unhappy playing second fiddle to the king. If Kyrie Irving was in front of LeBron James right now, LeBron James would be tempted to beat his ass. When LeBron learned about Stephen A's tweet, the king simply zeroed in on the journalist's questionable credibility. Not facts, people. Boo! Get another source. In the aftermath, Stephen A got the W on this one and his prediction was on target. Kyrie did have some issues with LeBron and the two former teammates eventually parted ways. So let's just give credit where credit's due. Andrew Bogut. Andrew Bogut was known to be the backbone that anchored the Golden State Warriors defense in their first title run back in 2015.
But maybe, he's saying Stephen A said Kyrie wanted out. LeBron said that's cap. But it turned out that that Kyrie did want out. But what if Kyrie wanted out or didn't want out, but when Stephen A said that comment, he said, oh, maybe I can use that and piggy and say, yeah, that is why I Just saying.
For the playoffs, Stephen A critiqued the Aussie and even called him Andrew bogus for faking injuries, lack of commitment, and playing half-heartedly. He can certainly defend, but behind his back, he's called the Tin Man for a reason. No heart. The Warriors devoid of big man presence because Andrew Bogut continuously resembled Andrew Bogus as somebody who's a complete no-show. Bogut's response? Well, there's no other satisfying reply aside from this 7-word clapback. He is just a wanker, pretty much. Lamar Odom. As we all know, Stephen A is not the type of guy who would hold his tongue when he's on TV, but sometimes he tends to go overboard with his half-thought statements or reckless remarks. This is what happened when he lashed out at former Knicks president Phil Jackson for hiring Lamar Odom, who was battling his own demons off the court at the time concerning his...
See, that's your problem,
Watch the
man.
NBA playoffs live.
Look like Stephen A got a lot of
YouTube TV.
issues with different players.
substance abuse. His very first move as an executive was to sign Lamar Odom, who was on crack. Listen, I love...
See what I'm saying right there? Stephen A said out his mouth, when his very first move as an executive talking about Phil Jackson was to sign Lamar Odom, who was on crack. Like, why would you say that as a sports anchor? Like, yeah, we know the man is on crack, but it's like he trying to better his life though. He trying to get a job to continue feeding his family. And here you go running your mouth and maybe can get this man fired. Like, we know, like, that shit crazy. He's literally telling the world he's on crack, even though we already knew. But it's like, come on, Steve.
Odom the person, and God bless him. We wish him nothing but the best. But metaphorically speaking, his first move as the executive of the New York Knicks was to sign Lamar Odom, who was on crack. Calling someone on crack during live TV is just unacceptable.
Unacceptable,
and
bro.
By Stephen A in the back, as Odom released a 3-paragraph statement condemning his reckless action. Here's an excerpt of the message signed by Odom's lawyer. To say his conduct was outrageous and unacceptable does not scratch the surface. We hope those at ESPN will actively voice their disdain for Mr. Smith's inappropriate statement and take the proper action to support those that are fighting this disease. We would hope
Right, like,
would use
I
this
understand that
situation as
fucking drug addiction is a fucking disease, bro. Like, that shit ain't easy. That shit is hard. That shit is tough to overcome that shit, bro. And it's people like you who put people down and don't, like, everybody deserves a second chance. And just because he was on crack doesn't mean shit. Like, the man can get clean. The man still got a brain. He still can think right. Like,
to become more actively involved in this case. Tensions between the two camps eventually fizzled out as Stephen A apologized to Odom just a few days after the incident happened.
never say something where you go end up apologizing.
After the Washington Wizards forced the Game 7 courtesy of a cold-blooded John Wall 3 in the 2017 playoffs against the Celtics, one half of the Morris twins, Markieff, delivered a good old butt slap to Stephen A as he heads to the dugout. When the spectators caught the friendly horseplay, Markieff jokingly said that it's the only way you can get back to someone with a reputation like Smith. That's the only thing you can do other than hit him. I would get in trouble for hitting him or doing anything. That's the only thing I can really do without hurting him. I know a lot of people probably wouldn't mind if I hurt him, but my paycheck wouldn't mind it. Stephen A was actually pretty cool with it initially, but after seeing Keith's tweet, he took it back and the once harmless incident seemed to escalate at this point. Don't ever touch me again, bro. Don't ever touch me again. I ain't playing. I thought he was playing. When I saw the quotes thereafter, you touch me again, and then it's going to be a problem. That's all I'm going to say. Let me get back to
So
this
the
point.
anger's threatening the person
He was
now.
upset because I like Markieff Morris and I know he can play. And obviously, I'm not threatening anything physical. He would kill me. The point I'm trying to make is just don't put your hands on me. Of course, the 6'10" enforcer would later respond by flexing his muscles and gave his 2 cents about Smith's subtle jabs of defiance. Words always get mixed up, but for sure don't want these problems, bro. Hashtag trust me. A neatly dressed media personnel versus a 6'10", 245-pounder, fully tattooed, mean-looking guy. I'm certainly going to put my money on Keith if by chance...
Fully tattooed. What the fuck does that got to do with anything? Fucking
two
wanker.
forces collided. Thanks for watching this video and don't forget to like and subscribe.
So there you guys have it, man. That's how a few other people feel about Stephen A. And pretty much didn't nobody have anything good to say about him. So, yeah. If Kwame ain't seen this, you need to see this, buddy.